Today we're going to try and crack a 2,500-year-old riddle from the biblical prophet Ezekiel. Now, I know it sounds a little out there. It's a seriously strange and mysterious story, but trust me on this. If you stick with me, unlocking it reveals something surprisingly deep and, honestly, pretty mind-blowing.
Right out of the gate, the text itself basically winks at us. It says this is not a straightforward story. The original Hebrew word for riddle here is hadah, and that means an enigmatic saying, something that's designed to be puzzling. So yeah, it's a mystery box, and we're about to open it.
So, the riddle kicks off with our first character, this magnificent, powerful eagle. The text goes on and on about its great wings and colorful plumage. In the ancient world, this is a clear symbol of immense power, of royalty. And this great eagle flies to a mighty cedar tree, which was a classic symbol for a great kingdom, and it does something very specific. It takes the very topmost twig, representing, you guessed it, its leader. Then, the eagle does something interesting. It kind of plays kingmaker. It takes a seed from the land and plants it, carefully growing this low-spreading vine. And here's the key detail, right? This vine is designed to be totally dependent, with its branches always turned toward the eagle, its new boss. But just when you think you've got it figured out, the plot thickens. A second great eagle appears on the scene. The text makes it sound like it's maybe not quite as majestic as the first one, but still, it's impressive enough to get the vine's attention. And sure enough, that little vine starts turning its roots and its branches toward this new potential protector. So, what on earth is going on here? We've got an eagle, a tree, a vine, another eagle. This is obviously not just a nature documentary. Now, this is a multi-layered riddle, and it's about political betrayal, a broken promise to God, and ultimately a really stunning prophecy. So let's start peeling back those layers. Okay, so the first layer is a straight-up political allegory. For the people who first heard this, the exiles in Babylon, this was like reading a thinly veiled news commentary about all the drama happening back home in Jerusalem. And for us, looking back with the benefit of history, we can crack the code pretty easily. All right, here it is. This is the decoder key to the whole political drama. That first great eagle, that's Nebuchadnezzar, the super powerful king of Babylon. The top of the cedar tree he plucks, that's Judah's king, Jehoiachin, who he kicks off the throne. The vine he plants instead, that's Zedekiah, a puppet king he installed. And that second eagle who shows up, you got it. That's the Pharaoh of Egypt, the rival superpower. Now, check out the timing. Ezekiel tells this story around 592 BC, which is just before King Zedekiah, our treacherous vine, makes his big, fatal mistake. The whole riddle is a prophetic warning basically screaming, don't turn to Egypt for help. But of course, Zedekiah ignores it. And just a few years later, Nebuchadnezzar, that first eagle, comes back and just yanks that treacherous vine up by its roots, completely destroying Jerusalem. A political fool making a fatal mistake. But believe it or not, that's only the first layer. See, this wasn't just about bad foreign policy. In God's eyes, what Zedekiah did was a direct, personal offense. And you might be asking, why? Well, it all came down to a sacred oath. He didn't just break a treaty with some human king, no. He broke a promise that was guaranteed by the God of Israel himself. And here it is, the smoking gun from the historical record. As was pretty common back then, Nebuchadnezzar had made Zedekiah swear loyalty by the name of Yahweh, the God of Israel. So by breaking that oath, Zedekiah wasn't just double-crossing Babylon, he was treating God's own name like it was worthless. He made God the divine guarantor of a lie. You see, at that point, he wasn't just a political fool, he was a spiritual one too. Just when the story seems to end in total disaster and judgment, Ezekiel does a complete 180. Out of the ashes of this huge political and spiritual failure, this cryptic, beautiful promise of restoration just emerges. God says, okay, I will personally step in. He says he's going to take a tiny, tender sprig from that very same royal cedar tree, the line of David, and he's going to plant it on the high mountain of Israel, where it will grow into this noble tree that shelters the whole world. I mean, this is classic messianic language. And this right here brings us to the deepest, most fascinating layer of the riddle. Why this specific imagery? I mean, prophets all over the Old Testament use these exact terms, a branch, a shoot, a sprout, to talk about the coming Messiah. This isn't random. It's actually tapping into a profound ancient worldview that, honestly, most of us have completely forgotten. So to fully unlock this riddle, we need to get our heads around one final concept.
the ancient idea of a cosmic tree or a world tree. It sounds a little strange to us, I know, but for the ancient Israelites, this was a foundational idea. So this cosmic tree, sometimes called the axis mundi or world axis, was seen as this sacred mountain or giant tree right at the center of the world. It was the point where heaven and earth connect and the source where all life comes from. So think of this cosmic center as the ultimate source point, right? It's the highest location there is. It's the origin of all creation. It's the bridge between the divine and the human worlds. And it's the wellspring of life for everything on earth. It's basically the spot where God dwells. Now, in biblical thought, this idea was first applied to the Garden of Eden, God's home on earth, the source of those life-giving rivers. But later, after Eden was lost, all that imagery was transferred to Mount Zion in Jerusalem, the location of God's temple. Zion became the new navel of the earth. And here it is. This is the final key that unlocks the whole riddle. The Messiah is called a branch or a sprig because he's being described as a literal extension of the cosmic tree itself. He isn't just from some royal family on earth. He originates from the very dwelling place of God, from the ultimate source of all life. I mean, that imagery is just so powerful, isn't it? It masterfully combines two massive ideas into one single figure. He is divine, a sprig literally taken from God's own cosmic mountain, and at the same time, he is human, plucked from the cedar tree of David's royal line. He is the one who connects heaven and earth. So there we have it, the riddle unlocked. We started with what looked like a simple political allegory about a foolish king. That deepened into a story about a huge theological crime, an oath broken against God himself. And it all culminates in this profound prophecy of a divine human Messiah, rooted in the very source of cosmic life. And this just leaves us with a fascinating thought, right? This ancient language shows that the concept of a divine Messiah wasn't some late invention. It was literally woven into the cosmological fabric of the ancient Israelites. It really makes you wonder, what other secrets are hidden in plain sight, just waiting for us to see the world through their eyes?